Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to a part 1 of a part 3 video for a new game called Union Arena. It's a, I forgot what they call it, it's a common game, which I think they call it something like that. So what the idea is that it's going to have a bunch of different franchises or IPs that can all then be played and mixed matched together. So here we see we have Bleach and the 1,000-Year Blood War and HunterXHunter. I also believe Jujutsu Kaijin is also slated to be released. I don't think it's out just yet, but I think it was coming a little bit later than these two. But the idea is you can either just play Bleach, you can just play HunterXHunter, or you can mix and match them, and as they add, they have a couple more things lined up already. I want to say I think they have like Godzilla or something, but maybe that's a different game I'm thinking of. But yeah, so this is kind of cool. So you can mix and match them. So if you've played some of the other Bandai type games, such as Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or One Piece, you're going to have a familiarity of how these are basically going to work. It works very similar to them, but there are some notable differences. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the starter decks. They were not available when I picked these up, but I did buy a bunch of packs. So video 1 here is going to be me just I'm going to try and give a brief explanation on how the rules in the game works and the overview of the cards. And then videos 2 and 3 will be Bleach, and then 3 will be HunterXHunter. Just that way, like, because I have a ton of packs of each. So, like, I have a bunch of HunterXHunter packs, and I have a bunch of Bleach. We'll go through, but I want to kind of go through and give you the idea of what they do, and then if you're coming back from those other videos to check what it is, then you have some idea of what the card game does. So before we even hop into that, one other thing I do want to point out is I picked mine up in blister packs like this. If you keep an eye out, though, some of them, so I have one for each set, let me scooch these back a little bit so maybe we can see this. If you look on the back side of the wrapper, there's actually another little black pack back there. So every once in a while, and I ended up getting one for each. I got a second one for HunterXHunter. They might have one of the box promotional packs. So these are basically like the box toppers if you bought like a full case. But just know they might be in some of the blisters. So if you are picking them up in the blister packs, definitely keep an eye out for them. And we'll open those up in there. And then kind of like what is in each pack. So we have, like, Bleach, we have 98 cards plus 6 types, so 34 commons, 35 uncommons, 17 rares, 12 super rares, and 6 action points. So again, this sticks fairly close to Bandai's other releases, and very similar with HunterXHunter, except it's 106. So we got a couple more commons, couple more rares, and then we have more action points. Also, there are alternate artwork cards in each one. Alright, I'm going to just open up this Bleach pack here, and we're going to kind of look at some of the cards here. So I'm going to grab a character card here. Byakuya Kikuchi. So there's going to be a bunch of things on here to keep track of. One, we're going to have different colors. We have green, yellow, different colors in here. Green, yellow, and purple. And if I look at, like, the HunterXHunter one, we have like green, blue, purple. So this might depend on which color. Some colors might be specific to certain games. I'm not sure yet how that all works. On the back of all of them, they're going to say Union Arena, so that way you can mix and match any of these. So we have a couple of interesting things on here. So in the bottom corner is going to show energy points. This is basically how many points you have to pay for abilities. The big thing, though, is going to be this action point and its cost up at the top. So, Bakuga costs 0 to play. So he doesn't cost any points, but he costs 1 action. So you get action point cards throughout the game. Now, I did a little tutorial online, which is really neat. You can go to their website here, unionarena.tcg.com/is-North-America. And they have a little tutorial thing you can play through. Teaches you how to play the game, but it doesn't explain the basic rules. And I didn't see an instruction manual, but maybe I just didn't look hard enough. You'll get action point cards, which are kind of like in the similar, I guess, to an extent of like kind of like the Don cards from One Piece. They're just very generic looking cards. They show you how many points you have to spend. So unlike a game like Magic the Gathering or some other games like even One Piece or Dragon Ball Super, where you can play as many cards as you have points to afford, here you only have X number of actions to take. So you start off with one action. I think by turn 2 you get a second action. I think on turn 3 you get a third action. And the tutorial didn't let me play any more actions than that. So I don't know if you only get 3 actions per turn, or if that was just a limit for the tutorial. But your actions will let you, so if you play a card down, play a card at all, it costs an action point. You can also use one of your action points to draw an extra card as well. So you draw your normal card at the beginning of the turn, and you can also play them. So that's very cool there. So it's a neat balance between how you want to play cards and how many points you have to spend. So if someone's not running away with a 14 card combo, you're probably only going to play like one to 3 cards each turn. Other thing we have on here, of course, we have character, we have ability. So trigger is they have a life point total. So when you start the game, you take 7 cards off your deck. That's your life total. Every time you get damaged, you lose a life point if it has a trigger ability to activate. And then we have BP for battle points. There are a couple other cards. I'm just going to kind of look through these quick. We have like Rangiku, who has 0 and 1. Well, she has a steps is during your movement phase. You may move this card from your front line to your enemy. I'll explain what movement is in just a sec. We have other ones like we've seen, like Kenshiro has active main, so you have your different setting, your different timepieces. And then if we have, let's look at characters a little bit higher cost. So you have Kisuke Yuhara here, who has a cost of 2. So he can only, he has to have 2 energy points to be able to play it. So this character's active, it gains an energy generation. So what this means, there's a little plus down here. So far, all these guys only have 1. I'm going to see if any of the other guys in the other set have 2. Yeah, so far all the cards I have showing here only have 1 little pip on the bottom. They do have some that will have 2, which means they just produce more energy. So how does this kind of work? So during your turn, what you do is you have an action point. And so if I have, let's say example, I have these 4 cards in my hand. I don't have any energy out currently right now, so I can't play. Now you're going to imagine there's one line that's for attacking and then one line that's for energy. So what I want to do is I want to play Bakuya. I keep saying Bakuga. I think I just was talking about My Hero Academia. You want to play Bakuya. So you play him in your energy area, and you actually turn him sideways. He's been used this turn. Now he's actively always generating 1 point of energy to spend. Now unlike other games like Magic, you don't have to exhaust like, oh, if I have... So like later on my turn, let's say I have 2 cards out, I have 2 energy. Maybe at the beginning of my turn, and they're face up, right, and they're active. I have 2 energy to spend. Now, if I want to play a Kisuke, I can play him for 2, or I could play a Kenshiro for 1, and that's fine. If I play Kenshiro, let's say I play him up here, he's ready to fight, except he comes into play exhausted. But if I could play him, and now if I had another 1-cost card, which in this deck, or this hand, I don't, this pack I didn't, but let's say if we look at, just example, we're playing HunterXHunter, I have Hisoka, I could play him as well, because I have 2, it doesn't matter. But alternatively, I have 2 points, I can play, so if I play just my first action point, if I have 2 action points, I can play Tensei as well, and play him as well, because I have 2 points. It's not spending them. It's just saying you actively always have points in there. But the difference is you have to play cards here to then be able to play them up here. So your first turn is basically playing cards as basically energy, and then later you can play them. You also have your main phase to play cards, you also then have a movement phase. So instead of playing my cards there, I could play these two down at the beginning to play some energy. And then let's say later I play, it's like my first 3 turns is I end up playing these 3 guys down. And then later I'm like, no, I need to move Kensei up. During your movement phase, you can spend an action point to move him up to your attack area. So that's kind of neat. You can play guys into your energy. They're not stuck down there. You can move them up. There's also a special ability I do not have in any of my cards called Raid, which lets you basically put a guy on top of another character and automatically moves them up. So it's a cool way to, like, get your guys out without having to spend an additional point by playing a higher cost character. So yeah, so some really neat stuff that you can do with those. And we have active main. They do different stuff when played. The other thing that is interesting is, so let's say again at the beginning of my turn, I have played these two. I had 2 action points. I ended up playing both of these guys, and I had them for my energy generation. Now, at the end of my turn, everything unexhausts, or I'm not sure exactly what turn they're going to use for it. They rest, they go active. So instead of waiting till the beginning of your turn, all your cards turn back at the end of your turn. So it's very interesting. And then the battling's like any other game you play. So like if I had Kenshi and my opponent had Kashiro, if I attack with Kenshi, if my opponent does not block me, I get to deal 1 of their life points of damage. They would then, they pick up 1 of their cards. It triggered. Now, I believe the way that tutorial went is I gotta select which one of my opponent's cards, although I don't know, generally I don't know why that would matter because they're randomly off the top of your deck. That might just be the tutorial letting me play around with it instead of just auto-picking one. Otherwise, it might be maybe in case someone has a ability to switch stuff. But yeah, so he'd have a trigger, which like you add this card right to his hand. So it's a way to kind of get a little comeback. Otherwise, they go to your sideline, which is your discard pile. Now, if Kensei attacked and Kashiro wanted to block, it'd be 25 versus 15. He would beat him, but nothing would happen. But he would lose a guy. So there's always those little options there. And then we do also have other things like event cards, which you can play into your energy area. Like this one says, choose one character, or this one just activates and does stuff. We have some other cards you can play into your other areas. Like, just choose one character in your opponent's front line, switch it to resting. So this just activates, you do it, it does its effect. It doesn't produce energy. I don't know if I have one in the other deck. No. But I do have other, I'm not sure what they're exactly called, but they will have other non-character cards that can go into your energy area that will have active effects that aren't characters. And that's the basis of the game. And now, I'm going to sit there and say, I don't know if I have this 100% right, because, again, I played a quick tutorial, I didn't read an instruction book, but that's the basic gist of the game. So it's really interesting because it focuses on you having to play cards from your hand as energy, rather than having a special resource for it, which is really neat. But you have them action points, which I think are really cool. So more powerful cards are going to have more actions. Like, every single card I have in the Bleach set has 1 action point. So I can play 1 each time, so it's not an issue there. If I look at this HunterXHunter pack, every single one here also has 1 action. So lots of them aren't going to cost that many, but some of the more powerful rares, ultra rares, super rares and stuff might start costing 2 actions. So then you really have to debate. Do I play this really powerful card, or do I play something later? So, like, again, like Rangiku here has steps. Is during your movement phase, you may move this card to your front line, from your front line to your energy line. So here's the thing: is you could play them straight out to your energy or your front line to be able to attack, and then I could step her back and use her for energy if all of a sudden I needed more energy, so I could play a better attacker. It's nice that you can play them to either zone. That doesn't matter. And we have characters that gain bonuses for other things. Like Tenshiro, we didn't really look at his ability, but it says main, switch to resting, and then sideline this card. Add 1 purple card from your sideline to your hand. This is a great way to get your cards back. This is a really neat way to get them back from the discard pile. And again, like Kisuke here, we show he can earn extra energy, so as long as he's active, he earns an additional energy for everybody. Yamachika has nullify impact. Character balance, character loses impact for the duration of this battle. And I don't know if I have anyone with the impact ability. Yeah, we have Shinji here. Says, kind of. He says, one play, choose up to 1 13 court guard squad. So it's nice to have little keywords up there. Affinity card on your field, it gains impact 1. Increase impact damage by 1. If this card does not have impact, it gains impact 1 till the end of turn. Yeah, so some of these guys will gain special yellow effects. And like Dragon Ball Super, is they have the way where the different colors will show off kind of what they do. So I'm going to drop him down quick. We have Pakunga, who has when sidelined, you get to draw a card. We have Hanzo, who has the ability that says when attacking, he gains 1000 BP, so it gives him an extra attack. Or this character gains damage too, and this character attacks and deals 2 damage instead of 1. So it gives him an extra ability. Like Gone here says when play, draw a card and put 1 card from your hand into your sideline. I'm trying to see if anyone had impact. Here we go. We have Jones's, who has impact 1. When this character attacks and wins a battle, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this means a battle is when they have to defeat somebody else. So this is kind of the way impact is neat. So if someone blocks him, they're basically risking taking damage anyhow, so they might just choose to opt not to block him. It says, if on the front line, this character is active at the end of your attack phase, sideline it. When this character attacks, it loses battle, sideline it. So basically what this guy means is he's going to do a ton of damage, but you're going to want to attack with him every turn. Otherwise, it's not going to be helpful. So, like, in conjunction, we did have, like, we had Gon here, who had, when played, for 0 cost, he says, when played, draw a card, sideline. We have Achilla over here, who has 2 cost, says same ability, draw a card, but he has 3,000, has double the attack. He also has color. Choose 1 character with a 35,000 or less BP on your opponent's front line and return it to their hand. So that's kind of neat. It can, cards different ones. You have draw cards, get cards to your hand. We do have another special one here. We have Skilled Hunter, Bandit's Secret. Choose 1 character in your opponent's front line, which is 3,000 BP till the end of the turn. If Crollo is on your field, heat up to 1 character with 3 or less required energy and Phantom Troop affinity on your field other than Crollo and activates when played ability. So that's kind of neat. So when this card comes in, it just has a neat effect. It costs 3, so it's quite pricey. But if you have specific other things, it's going to be even better. And that's special on the bottom with its trigger. Choose 1 character in your opponent's front line and sideline it. So again, trigger there can be kind of interesting because your opponent, for some odd reason, they have to have someone on their front line, otherwise they wouldn't have defeated you and triggered you, but they might only have 1 option. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the basis of the game. Like I said, we're going to do two unboxings here. Videos. They're going to be a little bit long because there's a lot of packs. I'm going to read through them all. But we'll go through. Second video will be about Bleach because that is listed as pack number 1. UE01BT. And then we will do a video for HunterXHunter, which is pack 2. Yeah, so hope you guys check both of those out. Hit me up in the comments. Hopefully I explained anything. If I did explain something wrong and you'd like to jump in and correct me on that, that would be awesome. Again, I don't have the starter decks, and I wasn't going to wait around to order them. See you guys later. Bye.